Hi, everyone. Welcome to Dyslexia Solutions podcast channel, where I interview parents of dyslexic children, teachers of dyslexic children, and also dyslexic adults. The purpose of this podcast is threefold. We want to empower you by informing you with current actions and opportunities. We want to encourage you that you're not alone in your situation with your challenges and your questions. And thirdly, we're always seeking sponsors to help keep our message going forward. Dyslexia impacts 1 in 5 children, and it needs to be addressed now. I'm Dr. Marianne Cintron, founder of Step by Step Dyslexia Solutions. We're a 501c3 nonprofit charitable organization, and I equip heroic teachers and parents with an effective literacy program to remediate dyslexia so we can close the achievement gap, stop the school to prison pipeline, and prepare kids for success in school and in life. I'm also a published author of A Message of Hope, How Music Enhances Reading for Dyslexic Children. I'm an app developer of the famous music and spelling app Dunking Dyslexia, and I have a special guest for you today. I want to introduce to you our special guest, Angele Cade. She's one of the new members of my board, so I'm very excited about that. She is the CEO and co-founder of Executive on the Go, Inc. Okay, this is a thriving consulting firm for today's entrepreneur. And after nearly 20 years of spending her time developing, supporting, and counseling thousands of local and national, international businesses, Angele is recognized as the to-go-to expert for structural, professional business needs, and she's really been helpful to the nonprofit. Additionally, Angele is creator of Instructors for Accelerated Business Launch, an automatic online program that advises business owners on the best business practices grounded in legitimacy. So will you welcome me? Will you join me in welcoming Angele Cade? Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. It's good to see you. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm really excited about being in the space with you.
It's my pleasure to have you, Angele. Before we get started and I ask you some questions, would you share with the audience a little bit more about what you do and your connection to children with special needs?
Yes, absolutely. I'm a business owner. I've been in business for 18 years, and it's been amazing. I mean, just an amazing run, being able to service our community near and far. We're in Los Angeles, and so it's just really been. We need to start over.
Closing that door there. That's okay.
So obviously we're working from home.
Yes.
And so
I'm
obviously
just
we're
hoping
working.
my husband doesn't walk in on us.
So we're working from home, and so anyway, it's been an exciting run. So nonetheless, we're a small business. We serve a number of small startups and across the country. And I have a 10-year-old son who is diagnosed with autism, who started off as a micro preemie. So he was born 23 weeks and 3 days. And so our journey has been long, but he has been strong. He's our hero. He has defeated many odds. And along the way, we were told about different things that he would face. And just not knowing what would, come out of going through, ongoing therapy and just, IEP with school. And then just as he began to thrive and do well in different areas, we noticed other areas where he needed more support. And so as we began to make sure and advocate that he was having full access to the curriculum, just realized as he got older that he was still having some problems with reading and elements of just applying the comprehension. And so we were looking for insight on different diagnoses or just different resources or just different options. And so that's where along the way we've done ABA, we have tutors. But funny enough, we met at a networking event for business. And when we connected, I was just so impressed by the system that you put together, the technique that you had, the passion that you have for, the cause and the development and growth for each student. And just, I don't know if you remember, but I just asked, what would it look like for you to evaluate, my little one? And you were open to jumping right in and doing an assessment. And then after that, just kind of, not realizing if the program would help him, but willing to
Mhm.
try to see if the technique was going to make a difference for him. And so here we are, what, months later, right? Like at
Yeah,
least not, yeah. So, at least, 90 days, later, and it's made a huge difference for him. He's more confident in class. He's improved his timing in terms of this, the amount of time that it takes him to read and comprehend the information. And so you can just see him be able to participate at a greater level and be able to engage in his class with an element of confidence that wasn't there before. So
that's
that's really,
wonderful.
yeah, it's been amazing. So that's really how we're, connected. And along the way, for my business, I deal with people with structure, for profits, nonprofits. So just being able to kind of dig into some compliance and just making sure that as much as possible, even this organization is grant ready, that you're postured to receive money, and that on all of the different platforms everything is aligned and makes sense. You guide the organization with integrity, you lead the organization with, with a passion and hope that other people will align with you, and just making sure that as an entity that it is consistent with having that same, level of integrity and consistency across the platforms.
Well, and that's real important because we are a new organization. We've actually been here 3 years with our nonprofit status, just 2 years. And, grant funders want to see the communities getting involved. And the communities are just starting to get to know step by step dyslexia solutions. We actually also have a presence in Africa, in India, but that doesn't help us with United States. So we are getting the word out across the nation. North and South Carolina, very interested, and Texas
Yeah,
and New Jersey and Pennsylvania. What I really envision the organization growing into, though, is an organization where parents can come to us with their children across the nation, and we have, a variety of trained tutors to help their children. And we don't tutor a lot of children with tendencies for autism, but we do occasionally get them. And I'm just amazed how children just need to learn to read. You know, the label,
absolutely.
the
And
labels,
they don't matter. They
yeah,
really don't matter. The label, the identification, at the end of the day, each child is different, and there are a lot of kids that have a diagnosis or have a label, and the reality is that they have multiple issues. They have multiple things that they need
yeah.
to overcome, or there's different techniques that can be applied to their situation that'll actually give them the tools or the techniques to be able to, regulate or, manage through something. So, like I said, even when we spoke, it didn't deter me that you didn't necessarily work with kids that were autistic. I know my son, and I know his temperament. And as long as it's systematic, as long as there's, if there's a structure, he can follow it, and just being able to give it the time to see that he would be able to respond to it in a positive way. And I think that that for me has been to my own benefit, to his benefit long term, in being able to see a difference with this technique. I think a lot of the kids in a lot of the different, programs that have kids that are concentrated with various disabilities, that this type of system, this type of program, this type of technique is needed so that they can get the confidence around the reading, because it's one of the last things that they, deal with. It's like, oh, the kids are they're fine, they're manageable, or, they're great in math, and we'll just prompt them through reading. No, let's equip them to be able to to get through independently with the reading without have to constantly, being prompt or just kind of allow them, this space. They can learn, they can do it with the right technique and system. And so I believe that is what this is.
Yeah, because we follow an Orton-Gillingham model, which is that multisensory, auditory, visual, kinesthetic, it engages the students and it works to their strength as well as to their weaknesses. And it's really good for all kids. And the neat thing with the Orton-Gillingham model, it's not a set curriculum, which some people thought it was. It's a model. So there is flexibility of what you do from day to day. And we might want to bring this in a little bit more today, but I do have a 9-step program that's very structured, systematic, and sequential. But because it's based one-on-one, we really go at the student's pace, and we're not in a race. The music app we have has the music in the left ear and the spelling exercises in the right ear. And that works for, I would say, 85% of the students. But some of the students just need to do 10 words at a time. And some students need me to say the words and listen to music in the left ear only with another, lesson in the app. But how has Ondin benefited with the music?
Oh, he absolutely loves it. I mean, he looks forward to his time, with his tutor, and he's got, you've got all the tools and all the things that are, packaged that are able to be, used during the session. So he's got it in a special place in his desk, away from his school stuff. This is his tutoring stuff, and so he's got it all, segued. And so he's definitely, getting into the groove of what it means to, I believe, really excel through this program. And so he's already, like I said, it's already proven to improve his confidence. So.
And just to go over some of those colorful materials, we've got phonogram cards, we've got sound circles,
Yes.
colors on both sides, we've got the plastic letters that are different colors. And he has a wonderful workbook that he
Yes.
can work in. And it's not a workbook that most people know the kid goes in the corner and works on the workbook. No, this is really engaging, and it's an opportunity for the teacher to keep teaching him grammar and phonics rules.
Absolutely.
Let
And I
me,
want to say also it complements, it complements everything that he's doing in school. It's not like, sometimes you get into a program and it's almost like you have to unlearn, you have to unlearn a bunch of stuff, or you feel frustrated because it's like completely opposite from like what you were doing all day. But I just feel like this program, the way and the technique, it's so unique, and it has its own kind of like flow and process that it complements everything else that he's doing.
that's so nice. And I also tutor 5 kids myself, and I train teachers. And, that's my passion, is to train the teachers. But in the meantime, the tutoring helps keeping the nonprofit afloat. And I've often had the students say, oh, we're learning ER in school today, or we're learning exactly what I'm teaching them. They're learning. And I've even had one of my students has a tutor in the home.
Mm-hmm.
And she's actually said she prefers the way I teach it, because the teacher in the classroom will just introduce a lot at once, and it just overwhelms the students. Where
Yeah.
she really likes the methodology that, I take to teach certain things together or
Yes.
separate them. Do you want to share a little bit about discovering about Ondin's challenges, and maybe some of the challenges you had and how you overcame them to help some of the parents out there?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that, there's something to be said when you have a child that faces, medical issues very early on, or that there's a discovery very early on that there could be something for you to kind of manage or contend with, or have to kind of strategize with, different resources or therapy along the way. I think for us, Ondin is a surviving twin. He is we were in the hospital for 6 months. He'd had over 9 surgeries. He has a visual impairment. He has Poland syndrome. He has, he just has a number of things that are going on. But all in all, everything has been managed. We've been able to, we had the best support with the Vision Institute at Children's Hospital. We've had great support around, some of the major procedures that he's had. And so it's just been quite a journey, and you're just so happy that your child is safe and healthy. And the thing is, for me, it's like, when I see other parents, I think, oh my gosh, we celebrate the small, what would seemingly be the small things, right?
Mhm.
He, when he reads a whole book, it's like we're having pizza, we're gonna party tonight because he read the book,
Celebrate the
because
moment. Yeah.
exactly. So just really, celebrating the things that that matter in the process of him gaining, confidence and independence, and just kind of growing into himself. And so and it hasn't been easy. There's times where we don't, I mean, for me as a parent, I've never had an Ondin before. So, just like for a lot of parents, you've never, your child is very, very unique. Like I said, Ondin has,
Mhm.
he has high myopia, so he has very thick glasses, and we have to deal with like his vision, and can he see what he's looking at? Is it big enough? Do we make adjustments for it? And then also just, kind of dealing with, his fine motor, if his writing isn't perfect, what do we focus on? Do we get frustrated at the writing, or do we stay focused on this? And so there's just a lot to kind of contend with. And as a parent, you don't want to feel like I'm choosing the wrong thing, you know or even like finding do I look and do I say like, oh gosh, I should have found this 5 years ago? Well, 5 years ago I was dealing with other situations, or he needed other type of
Mhm.
support, or we were doing other things. And so just being gracious with yourself as a parent, that that you're doing the best job that you can, and that all the resources that come to you, when they do, that you do your best, your due diligence, to just see if it's the best, application for your child. And so for me, that's really what it's been about. And then also holding true to advocating, for him when it comes to his school, in making sure that he does have full access to the curriculum, and that, he's at school to learn, not just to go over, not just to circle the same bush and go around the same tree. We
Mhm.
are here to learn, and he's proven that he can. I've always said, if he can learn something, he can learn anything. And if he could learn anything, he could learn everything. So let's just go to work. It might not be at the pace
Yeah,
that that I did, or that somebody else has, but we got to stop comparing our kids.
that's right.
It's an individual journey.
You've given him so much support, and I love that. We all would die for our kids, right? Run in front of a car for our kids. I
Hmm.
have a local school district that this assistant superintendent recently told me, Marianne, you're here at the right time. I'm so glad we found you. And I'm like, I've been knocking on your door for 2 years. But for her, I came at the right time. It's because it's the right time for her.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it does. God has a way of making things work together, and it's in his timing. It really is.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But like I mean, but you said it. The thing is that you were still knocking,
Yep.
right? And so that, what I mean, at the end of the day, it's like if you were knocking, and then you stopped, and then she answered and you weren't there, then, what I mean, then you wouldn't
That's
have
right.
that kismet, you wouldn't have that moment. But the point is that, for us, even as parents, it's like, are we still knocking at the door? Are we still knocking for the resources? Are we still knocking for the options? Are we still not,
Don't
what I
give
mean,
up, right?
don't give up,
Don't give
because you
up.
don't know when it's going to open. And the thing is for a lot of us, we don't know what we don't know. We don't, certain things,
Right.
like I didn't know this specific program existed. There's a ton of programs. We've
Yeah.
gone to a bunch of assessments. We've considered a lot of different tutoring and programs and things. But along the way, as you begin to maneuver and try and test and see, then all of a sudden the right fit comes along, and it's perfect, for you and for
Oh,
your little one, right?
that's so great. Wow, I could talk to you for another 15 minutes, but I won't because I know our listeners only have a short attention span, as do we, as do we. So
All of us do. Yes, we do. It's very true.
let me offer an opportunity to let people know how to reach you. And if you have a closing statement you'd like to say to them.
Yes, thank you so much for allowing that. Again, Angele Cade, and you can find me at exec on the go, EXEC on the go.com. You can feel free to check out our website, schedule an appointment, see what we do, and just, follow us on social media. We really are here to help small businesses be informed, be educated, and be able to, do it right and hopefully do it right the first time, as you're engaging in structure and just deciding what's going to be best for you. We prepare formal structure entities for our clients, and we just want to make sure that they have a good experience going through it. So please check us out.
Oh,
Um, but really quick, before I go, I just wanted to thank Dr. Marianne. She just is amazing and just such a support. And the work that she's doing in step by step is just been amazing because there's so much sacrifice in this work. There's so much that has been poured into this work. There's so much, intent that has been put in to make sure that something can be delivered at a quality level for all of our kids and communities near and far. So I just don't want to, negate the opportunity to be able to edify her and the work that
thank
she
you.
does. The same person you see in these 15 minutes that is passionate about the program is the same person who assesses the kids, tutors, teaches tutors, teachers teachers, just all that's the same person, right? It's the same love and passion. And the thing that you mentioned at the beginning, that you empower and encourage, I think is so powerful because I think it speaks to who you are as a person, and that's the part that people should connect to, and that's the part that people should realize needs the sponsoring and the support to continue this work in the world. So continue to do an amazing job. I stand for you, and I just, support you as much as we can, as a family and as a business. And just, kudos for doing this great work in the world for all of our kids.
Well, thank you. And now the audience knows why I love her to be on my board. She's just so it's just very encouraging. And I want to thank you for being here, being our special guest, Angele. So, audience, thank you for tuning in today. And if what we have shared has inspired you, would you please like our podcast and share it? Subscribe to our YouTube channel and our podcast channel. Please visit our website at dyslexia-solutions.com. I look forward to hearing from you, and please consider making a donation. Any amount helps to keep our message going forward. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, and God bless you. Bye-bye now.